So this is a picture from December 3rd of 2012 in the second largest city of Slovenia, which is called Maribor. That night, 1 out of every 5 people went into the streets with a unifying chant. They were saying, "Gotov je." "Gotov je" means he's finished. And that who is finished was the mayor of the city, Frank Kangler. He had been caught yet again in a corruption scandal. This time, a speed and radar system, which issued over 70,000 tickets in the first weeks of operation. Protesters eventually started to burn down the speed and radar systems, as you can see over here. Of course, it didn't help that the local media unveiled that 92% of the proceeds went to a private contractor, not to the city. And that the mayor, Mayor Kangler, was sitting on the board of this company. So what later came from this is a series of protests that were later understood as the Maribor Uprisings. Like in other uprisings elsewhere, like in the Arab Spring, Occupy, or Black Lives Matters, social media played a crucial role into bringing people together. What that meant is that people from all walks of life went into the streets. When you have people from What is really interesting about Maribor is that the city had been successfully rebranding itself as a center of arts rather than decaying industry. So you have like a tradition of post-Yugoslavia when a lot of people were more working class, but you also have a lot of the intellectual and cultural elite of the country. When these protests emerged and the consequences happened, a lot of people were in prison. So when you have people, and if you've been to protests or if you know what happened in protests, it doesn't matter if you're actually fighting the police or not, you're going to prison regardless. And the consequences of that was really interesting for us. So in the summer of 2014, my close friend, collaborator, and former professor invited me to go to Slovenia and wander and do some research and see the potentials of making a film. The first person that he introduced me was this man. His name is Andrei Kurtnik, a political scientist and activist that has spent most of his career trying to defend and protect and intellectualize the most marginalized elements of the society. That was the refugees, and in this case were the people from the uprisings, especially the people that were there trying to fight the police. So out of the research, out of understanding and everything that happened then, I learned one important lesson that it took me a while to put it in my heart. And that is that riots, perhaps, are not only the language of the unheard, but also sources of power. And that is at the core of the film that we created after all the research and the years and months coming back to Maribor. We're trying to explore what are the consequences when we basically condemn those people that are fighting in the streets. So the way that we do this is not in a traditional way. This is a live participatory interactive documentary. That means that you get to choose all the narrative paths that you want to see and experience. And every decision that you make is binding and there's no going back. The way that we do this is that the film provides you with a little bit of context, like the one I just gave you, and it positions you in a place with a pause with a couple of options, like this one here. You either go and follow this rowdy group with the bale of hay, or you listen to the organizers and intellectualize a little bit what you could do. The way that we do this, and it's very simple, but it took us a lot to get there. You see, if you pull up a cell phone and you start pressing a button, you may get distracted very quickly. And when you're in a dark room, well, things can get very distracting. So we raise the hands, and people speak in the microphone, and they try to defend their position. This goes hand in hand with the material that is at the core of the documentary, which is crowdsourced footage from people that actually went into the streets with their small cell phones, with their small cameras, people like me or people like this guy over here. What this creates is a different positionality and vantage point of view. The semantics of the image are very different. You're actually facing the police, contrary to the traditional media outlets, which are more protected from what the protesters are doing. And this creates a different emotional and visceral response to the material. So in essence, the only thing that defends you from the police that is most likely to come and arrest you is those people that we are more likely to condemn for their violence. And there were so many important lessons to understand from there. Of course, when you have these abstractions of silhouetted images, most likely men, very masculine, it's hard to make sense. Why should you care? But then that's why the film gets into understanding a little bit of those personal stories. Like this guy, Alish, who, despite wanting to stay anonymous, provided us with his narrative, and we helped cinematically to tell you his story. Ultimately, this film, what it does is that interweaves the form and the content in a very effective way, or that's what we like to think so. And you connect with the people that are actually there, which is what brings me to here, to the right now and to the today, to the Maine International Film Festival, which celebrates its 20th anniversary. I lived in Waterville for 6 years, and I'm so thankful and proud to be part of this. This is a beautiful opportunity because festivals provide a platform, like colleges and local communities, to think about these ideas. I think this is really important to be thinking about uprisings and riots in the world. We live in times where people are going to be fighting in the streets, regardless if you're supporting one thing or another. This film provides different tools and understandings of what we can do with this knowledge. And I invite you to come and experience it with me and my friends.